Hey y'all, how's it going? I'm trading the ES futures on a 2000 tick chart with a 21 EMA. So I've got the overnight high up here and the overnight low down here. These were our key levels for the day. So I started trading at 8 Central Time, which is this area right here. Now notice we have this uptrend, break, first attempt higher, second attempt higher, pushing right into 8 o'clock where we get this chop here. Excuse me. So we push up, reach the overnight high. We start getting choppy here, clearly reacting off of it, very clear reacting off of it. And we push up, we get this first attempt to fade, but then we push up and reset the count. Notice the swing is higher than that. We get another first entry long. But a first entry long, that's not enough to take a breakout pullback of an overnight high. You have to see 2 attempts. And, even though you have a first attempt from here and a second from here, you have a count reset. You want to see it from the same reset, like a second entry, not just a reset and then take a first entry long. But by the time we get this second push down here, we close up here, it's clearly right into these highs right here. So you don't want to enter on this, second entry. You can see first entry long, second entry long, closing right into this range high. It's clearly sideways. So, it ends up working, but, it doesn't look good right there. Now we get this breakout pullback. Once again, it just basically sideways chopping before we push on up. We reach that measured move, this up measured move here, fully met now. And we start going into this range. Now, even though it's clearly going sideways here, there is still these 2 legs down. You can see first entry long, second entry long, with this bar here. But, you did just meet a major measure move. You can expect a reversal after something like this. And also, you don't have enough room to the highs of this range. With that, anyway, and even if you did have room, I still don't like it because, once again, this is the overall context. This measured move was met. It's likely to have a reversal. Now, in this case here, it does end up working. Or let me draw out this. If you entered with a stop, you still clearly won, but that doesn't mean it's going to work out like that next time. And as soon as the target is met, if you did enter that, it, basically right after reaching your target, it has a very sharp drop. And so, you can expect a reversal after a move like this. And so even though it works out right here, right after you get a sharp reversal, and sometimes that's going to come, a lot closer to when we reach the measured move. So with these 2 legs up, we get that reversal, but clearly on a bigger picture, we do have 1 leg here. These 2 legs up are clearly forming a wider trend. So that reversal from those 2 legs up here is actually just the break on a bigger picture. And so that shows price action levels get bigger as more time goes on. We're going to get more into that in a second here with these legs here. So after we get the break, you can see we have 2 attempts at a new high. You get this break before reaching that measured move. You get another push up and reach the measured move before reversing. But you see here, we have this measured move up. It's reached, but you can still draw it within this trend here. Now you have to take it 1 level at a time. Clearly, we are reversing after that measured move higher there. And that's why I like this lower high, because we're expecting a second leg down right after 2 legs up here. But there's a reason that I didn't want to take something like this. The reason I didn't want to take something like that was because I wasn't wanting to bet on this entire second leg finishing. I wasn't wanting to bet on it pushing through the overnight low. So there's a few reasons why I didn't want to enter short there, because these 2 pushes higher weren't significant enough. It's clearly just 1 on a bigger picture. Now, say we have gotten, say we got a push up to here, a much clearer break where it clearly breaks the structure, and then a second leg up. I would be much more open to a larger short like this, expecting a lot more of this, expecting a second major leg down. But since these 2 attempts back weren't, big enough, I didn't want to bet on that. So I liked this I liked this lower high instead. And notice how on a smaller picture here, draw out these legs, I can do 1 to 2 within this smaller measure move. So, it's basically like playing it safe. I wanted a little bit bigger picture, a couple attempts higher before the failure. So I'm keeping it within this smaller measured move level with the target rather than expecting the larger one to be met or pushing it past the overnight high. So I hope that's clear what I just explained there. Now we push on lower here, we retest the overnight low, the overnight high. Now you still have this measured move in play at this point. It is almost met. And now I don't like the idea of going long right here because, you know, it's into this trend line right here. This bar is into this other STT as well, but all this closes inside of it. I was hoping that, you know, since we have this measure move in play, maybe we can push up and get a higher low or something, because it's like downtrend, break, first attempt at the measure move. You know, we're getting a pretty significant push higher here. I would like to see another attempt at it, because that could offer a great higher low. I wouldn't even care about a failed second entry. I would just want a higher low. But we don't get that. And someone asked me about going short right here, because to them it looked like a big picture failed second entry. Like starting from here, we have first entry long, second entry long, failure. But no, because the reason that I don't like that is because we did just bounce off the overnight high with 2 legs down. Even though the measure move wasn't met, and that was part of their reason that they wanted to go short right here, was because they wanted to reach that measured move. But the measured move, yeah, that's going to look good for shorts, but you still have 2 legs down off the key entry point, this overnight high. So it's just a competition zone. There's going to be a bunch of longs piling up here. There's going to be a bunch of shorts piling up there. It's one of those areas you just got to stay out of. You know, there's too much competition between both sides there. So it's best to just sit on your hands. I mean, you just had a very strong reaction to this overnight high, so I would not immediately switch into a short right there. Now, we do end up pushing lower here, and I just want to mention about this measure move, and clearly this measure move, it won out, and you know, over this retest here, because price, as soon as this measure move was met, you know, it went a couple points lower, but it clearly needed this to be met before the reversal. So, you know, these measure moves are important. So, you know, I just wanted to go over that. As soon as this measure move was met, then we reversed after that final attempt there. And so as we push up here, you know, it's kind of choppy on this first leg here, but it's still clearly, you know, a leg up, very easy to see. You get a break. And I liked how we had 2 major legs retesting this overnight high. This is a major key entry point, the overnight high. These are key levels. That's why we mark them. That's why they're the only levels that stay stagnant the whole day, that never move. Unless very rarely. Sometimes you'll adjust them, but generally they're very static. But 2 legs retesting a major level, reversing back higher, very strong bar on this right here. Also for this uptrend here, we have break, first attempt higher, second attempt higher. So just like I was talking about with these legs up here, these 2 smaller picture legs are really 1 leg on a bigger picture. So uptrend, break, first attempt higher, clearly forming that second attempt higher after the 2-legged retest. And with that bar, it's, you know, very clear. I did use a limit order on this, and I want to draw out this trend line here. So the main thought with the limit order was about this measured move, keeping it within that combined with this trend line, but you know, it did go a little bit past. One thing about trend lines, say you have a measured move up and you also have a trend line that, you know, if you extend the target too much would go through. It's okay to push it a little bit past the measured move, because trend lines act as magnets. You can expect price to attempt to reach them. So sometimes you'll have like a measured move and your target might have to be a little bit past it. But if you have a trend line as a magnet, as long as it doesn't have to go through it to reach the target, then that could actually help you out, because it is a magnet. But, you know, I'm not going to get too deep into that right now. Now we end up pushing on out of that. You know, we get this higher low up here. Now at this point, you know, when we get this large push down after a huge spike up, I would want to see 2 legs down. I wouldn't just enter after, you know, a first entry. This is basically like a big picture first entry. You know, and it was very bearish, rushing below the EMA like that. I would want to wait on a break, second leg down, possibly get something down there, or after or possibly we could get after 2 legs down is just a rush back above with a failed second entry, or a higher low to continue this clear bullish bias, which leads me to this. I'm going to quickly make this red just to separate it from all the other arrows. Let me just drag that. So we clearly still have this even larger up measured move in play. So, you know, even though that's in play, you still don't want to take first entries. You know, I want to see I would want to see another leg down there, possibly reaching this trend line. You know, which leads into this, which I'll get into that in a sec. So we end up bouncing here. You know, we don't reach another correction where we don't reach the EMA, so nothing for me there. Same thing here. We don't reach the EMA. We just keep on pushing up. And then here we get a very sharp spike down, and you know, these arrows, they don't quite match the price action here because I drew them before this happened. I was writing what could possibly happen. And what could possibly happen is getting two major legs down to the key entry point. I was thinking it's possible, you know, we can get two smaller legs up before getting the second larger leg down, which, you know, we're sort of getting something like that. We had a larger push down, and now we're making the second leg up here, and it's going a lot bigger. So, you know, we'll see what happens. Now, even in this uptrend, I do think you can find a good short because you can expect price to reach these trend lines. These do act as magnets. You do have this downtrend break. You can expect price to attempt a new low. If we rush below and clearly hold, you know, against this bullish bias, we can look for a one-to-one short. But you know, well, I guess we'll see what happens. So that's going to do it for this video. Hope it helped out in some way. Hope you enjoyed the video. And, yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.